Are we on? Okay. Hi everybody, I'm Julie Nutting. I'm here today to show you guys how to work with these new ornaments that just came out. Thank you all for coming in and watching. Here's a few of them all made up. I just wanted to kind of show you what they look like. Many different things that you can do with them. This one here I did with a chalkboard paint, which I thought would be fun because you could actually, it got dusty. You could actually write someone's name on it or a date, or you could write a little saying. This particular ornament here is called Santa's Helper with her little hat. Just to let you know, on her hat, on these fuzzy pieces, I used a Perfect Pearls out of a little squeeze bottle, and then I just put a clear stickles over it, and it just has a really beautiful sheen to it, and just made it a little more fun with all that texture. This one is called Star, and I used a Perfect Pearls on her little hat and collar, which I thought was really fun too. I like those little textured pieces. This one is Holly, and no, I'm sorry, she's Angel. Her name's Angel. I forget her name, but she's cute with her little scarf and hat and wintry looking. This one is Holly. She has a little holly sprig in her hair. And just to let you guys know, these could also, you don't have to think totally Christmas on them. You know, you could slap a flower on there and make a really cute, just little heart wall hanging or a little package tag, whatever. They don't have to be just Christmas, except for, of course, the Santa hat probably is. This is the ornament we're going to make today. I'm missing one. I still have another one, and I don't know which one I'm missing. But, oh, the one I'm missing, she's wearing a little crown. So anyway, this is the one we're going to make today with all of the new, not all, but a lot of the new mediums that are out. This is what they look like in the package. They come with a ribbon and a tassel and a jump ring. And then the wings are actually separate from the ornament. So you can glue them in any configuration that you want. You know, some people like wings to go way up. Some like them to go down. You can do it however you want. The other thing is you don't even have to use the wings. You can just use the ornament as is, and what I thought would be really cute is to take the wings, cover them in like music sheet paper, maybe drill a hole in each wing, put them together with a tie, and you would have two completely different ornaments, and you can even make them coordinating if you wanted to. But anyway, that was kind of my mindset in doing the wings separately. These are made out of a very nice, thick MDF board. It's not wood, so it's perfectly smooth. You don't have to fight with wood grains or paint bleeding. It's just perfectly smooth. And normally I will put a coat of gesso over the pieces, which will acts as a primer and lets your paint colors go on there and not fight with that brown background. So I'm going to go ahead and start with our gesso, and I'm going to put a coat on these pieces with just a regular paintbrush. I don't skimp on paintbrushes when I'm painting this type of thing. I really suggest you guys get a decent paintbrush, not the kind that comes 10 in a $4.99 package. When you're working in small spaces such as this, you need just a good quality brush. And by that I don't mean a $12 brush, but maybe a $4 brush. Invest in something that's going to last you a very long time. So I'm going to put a very thin coat of gesso on these. And, oh, I forgot to get paper towels. There's a baby wipe. Always have paper towels with you when you're painting so you can wipe that excess water off on your brush. That's important. Okay. I'm just slapping it on, and then once it's on, I'll kind of smooth it just to give it a nice smooth coat. Whenever I open my packages, my Prima packages, I always use the packaging as a palette. That way I don't feel like I'm throwing something away without reusing it. And sometimes I'll have a piece of cellophane there with just layers and layers and layers of paint on it. Okay, so there we have 2 wings. This side got a little watery, so I'm just kind of redoing it. Now, these are popping up all over the internet now with people painting them, and I've noticed most people are leaving the skin tones, the brown, which is perfectly fine. It certainly makes it easier on you. I do like painting mine because I just like the painting process. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the same thing. Just a fine coat of gesso. These pieces are etched, and the etching is fairly deep, so I'm wiping off the edges here. The etching is fairly deep, so it's really like a color, paint by number process, which makes it really easy for you guys. I don't want to do gesso around this, that little edge around her body. I want to keep that brown, so this part I have to be just a little more careful on. And yeah, I'm getting it all over, so I'll end up wiping it off. And I should probably be using a smaller brush for this. And I want, especially where her skin is, to be really, really smooth, because that's going to be my lightest color of paint. Her dress is going to be black, so I'm not too concerned. And her hair is going to be dark. Those brushes in water. Now I'm going to take the baby wipe and just kind of go around the edges where I had that white. If you miss something on here, you can always take a black Sharpie and just color in that white on the dark edge just to clean it up, because you will get stuff there unless you're a perfect painter. So I'm just cleaning up my edges, and I'm going to start, I'm going to let her dry, and I'm going to take my wings, which are almost dry, so I'm just going to air dry them a smidge more. I'm going to take a metallic paint. Any of the craft store brands will work for this. You know, the inexpensive stuff that they just have aisles and aisles of at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to paint the wing as well as the outer edge of the heart. So I have to think ahead how I'm doing this. I've decided that you can't do it on TV like you're going to do it at home, because you have to allow for drying time. So I'm going to paint this metallic on the heart. I'm going to paint the entire piece, even the etched edge. And I'm just laying, you know, not super thick because you want it to dry, but just enough to get it covered. And then as the heart is drying, I'll do the wings, and then I can go back to the girl and get her painted, which pretty much takes, getting her painted takes a little bit of time. So there we have, you're not going to be able to see it too well, but trust me, it is a gold metallic color. And I'm going to take my bigger paintbrush, and I'm going to just get a nice smooth metallic coat. And when I originally did this piece, let me put this down here so you can kind of see it. When I originally did this piece, I was going to just do metallic wings, and I noticed that the metallic, because it's metallic, it didn't dry really smooth. So I thought, how am I going to fix this? It wasn't exactly the look I wanted. So this ornament was just an experiment that ended up to be really one of those happy experiments. Like, yes, that is what I wanted to do. So I'm making it fairly smooth, and I'm not getting a full coverage. And I knew in painting the original piece that I would probably have to put 3 or 4 coats of metallic paint on to get it covered. And that's when I decided to go in with bloom sprays and textured pastes and all those other yummy things that we have. I'm just looking at my little monitor, and somebody asked me, oh, Coco. Coco is the one with the little knit cap. I get so focused on what I'm doing that one of the worst things I do when I'm doing these is not look at the monitor. So I apologize for that. But I just get so into what I'm doing. So I'll try and be better at that. Okay, so we have 2 wings, and You can kind of see where you're not getting that full coverage, and you can see where it would take quite a few different coats of paint to get exactly what I want. And I'm kind of an impatient person. I don't really want to put on 4 coats of paint. So that's when I decided, okay, we're gonna do these bloom sprays, and we're gonna just have some fun. Hang on just a second. Okay. I saw a piece of paper laying there because I forgot to grab paper towels. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my wings down, and I'm going to take, I've got the worn leather and I've got the antique gold. They're very close. The antique gold is lighter and the worn leather is much darker. And what I'm going to do, after I get all shook up, I'm going to put a coat. This is the antique gold right here. And when I first sprayed it on, I went, oh my, that's not what I wanted to do. So I just took my little paper towel or whatever I had and started modeling it, giving it like a mottled effect. And then I'm going to spray some on my paper, and I'm going to take my baby wipe and just go around the edges of the heart and get that same effect. I don't want to spray it. Obviously, I don't want to get her sprayed. So there we've got the edge of the heart. Now looks like the wing. So that is the gold. Now I'm going to take the darker of the two, move her out of the way, and I'm going to do the same thing. And now is when you really see some magic happening. And you can see I've got 2 shades of that nice brown tone. And this reminded me a lot of, some of you are, I'm going to really show my age, but in the 90s and the early 2000s when faux painting was really big. And we were doing things to look like old metal, and we didn't have a lot of fancy materials out there. We truly did it with just paint colors. And that's what this reminds me of, except we've got better materials to use. So there we have the darker tone on the outer heart. Now I'm going to take some of the glistening waves. I actually used the soft teal for this, but for some reason I didn't put it in my bag. And I'm looking down in the cabinet here, and this is the only color I see, so this is the color I'm going to use. Whenever you see the old metals, you do see a bit of a blue patina or a green, and that's kind of what I'm sponging on here. Just a little bit to give you that appearance of an old piece of metal. And just some splotches here and there. This color is actually really pretty on there. I like it. So I'm pretty happy. I'm actually really happy with my wings. And that doesn't always happen when you're recreating something on a video. So there I have a little bit of blue on the heart. And FYI, this blue is showing up way better than the soft teal did. So I'm happy. And Carrie, this isn't, you're out there. This is not labeled. I don't think it's Glistening Waves either. I think it's that darker blue. I don't know if you can tell. But I really, I like that. It works way better than what I was using at home. So we're going to allow those wings to dry a little bit because we're going to go into them one more time. I'm kind of stalling here because I'm looking for my baby wipes to wipe my hands. Oh, here they are. Everything's so condensed that I can't find anything. Okay, so yes, this is the Color Bloom Cobalt, which I actually haven't used yet because I don't use a lot of blues. And then when I'm forced to use something that I don't normally use, I always end up loving it. So that's just a lesson. Use something that you're not used to. Now I'm going to go in and just paint her. I'm going to start with her skin. And I was going to run to the store and get flesh colored paint, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to mix. I've got a white paint, and then I've got just a craft paint, a peach tone. And I'm going to mix my paint color to get just a very light colored flesh. And I don't recommend getting all fancy and expensive with your paints on this type of project because the spaces are so small that you really can just use a regular craft paint down those massive aisles of craft paint land. You don't have to go through the expense of buying like fine art type paints. And this is a good color. I'm happy with it. And I'm just going in, following my lines. It's just paint by number. And I'm coloring in her skin tone. Now you can get fancy and you can shade her skin if you wanted to. Add a little more peach to that mix and go back in and do some shading. I'm not actually going to do that. Again, the spaces are so small that you don't have to do that. And I really kind of designed these to make a non-artist person that doesn't paint a lot feel comfortable that, oh wow, they can do this, because it really is that simple. And this idea is really based on, I'm going to show my age again, although they probably make them still. When I was little, there were these kits of maybe 10 wooden ornaments, all different shapes, you know, little jack-in-the-boxes, Santas, gingerbread men, and they came with little pots of paint, and we would paint them. And they were really inexpensive, and it kept us busy. And I really liked them, so I decided this is my version of going back in time, because I'm really good at finding all the childhood crafts and recreating them into something a little more fun. I'm not sure this is exactly grown up, but it's fun. I love doing these. When I first got my prototypes, I spent 2 days and I painted all of them. Some I covered in paper, I did the chalkboard paint, and I was just like totally addicted because they were so simple and yet they come out so beautiful, and I really think that they come out looking like something you would buy in a store. And when I make something, that's how I want to feel when I'm done. I still have her neck. And if I wanted to do a little bit of shading, I would take maybe a little bit of a brown paint, just a dot, mix in with this mixture, and I would do a little bit of shading on the sides of her if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that today. And I actually didn't do it with most of the ornaments that I painted. There. The thing about using the cheaper craft paints is their coverage is a little different, obviously, than using a golden paint. So you may have to do a couple of coats on them. So we are done with her skin. And there's just a little tiny, and we usually have a pin or a toothpick or something on our table, and I'll just kind of clean it up with that. And I'm going to just take my brush. And I'm not usually a perfection person, and I think most people know that when I teach. But I do want this little outer rim to stay as clean and neat as I possibly can. Her little dress, I'm just going to do a basic black. As you can see, all my paints are coming out of a different type of bottle, because when I buy the craft store paints, I just usually, I'll buy what's ever on sale. I am not, they're all kind of the same. If those companies were watching this, they would probably die. But I'm all for buying something on sale. This brush that I'm using is a number 2 round. It's pretty comfortable going into these straps. You could go even tinier. There we go. Once this is dry, you could actually go in, which I did do on one of them. I spread some black stickles on the dress, which was really pretty. There we go. Her hair. I am not a lover of craft paints for hair. I don't have any craft paints in browns, so I don't know how they would look on this small of a space. I use golden paints whenever I do hair, and the reason I use golden, this is well used, is because the colors are really true and natural for hair, whether I'm doing a blonde or a brunette or a redhead. And the consistency when you're painting a canvas using a golden paint is much easier to create hair. So on a piece this small, you probably could use a craft store paint easily enough. I just didn't have any because I don't use them when I do hair. On a canvas, when I paint hair, I am using probably 3 different colors to get the texture. And it's really hard to find that in a craft store brand. So that's my spiel on hair. Certainly on an ornament with hair this small, you can use a cheaper brand of paint. And I'm not going in and using 3 different colors of brown. I could if I wanted it to look, you know, like it was going in a museum, but I'm not going to. These really are meant to be simple. And sometimes the more you do on a small piece, it's too much. It's just not necessary. The star of this piece is going to be the wings with all the yummy stuff that we're going to do and that we've already done. So there's her little bun. And if I see any pieces that are not covered well, I'm just going to kind of go over a little bit. Call it a day. That was pretty simple. Now, when I do hair this small, something that I really like to do is take a metallic gold gel pen or any of that type of product and go in and give her a little bit of highlighting in her hair. I didn't throw that in my bag today, so I'm going to take, and I'm going to show you on her hair. See that? That came from a little gel pen. And it's way easier than painting. But I'm going to go ahead and just put in a couple of little streaks. Just so she's got a little bit of highlight in there. Done. We call that a day. Her little face is dry. So I'm going to take some chalk or pastel, whatever you have, even face blush works, and put some cheeks on her because she is all dressed up and she's got to have cheeks. So there she is, well blended. And we're going to next take, I've got the Liquid Perfect Pearls in an avocado color, and I'm going to take that and color in the holly leaves, and I'm just kind of dotting it on. I'm not. You could take a paintbrush and paint it on if you want, but this is just as easy. Gives it a little texture. while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and, no, I'm not. See, I do that every time. We're going to do a little bit of texture paste on these wings. And I'm using some punchinella. It's either called punchinella or punchinello. I've seen it both ways. Hard stuff to find, but I use it all the time. I found it through Amazon, and you get it in a big roll. And I'm using the gold crackle texture paste, and I'm going to lay the punchinella over the wings, and I'm going to take a knife. You can also use your finger, which I have done before when I've forgotten my knife, and it works just as easy. And I'm going to get a little bit on my knife, and I'm going to just spread, not all over, just in pieces. And maybe a little smidge over here. Lift it up, and you've got some gold metallic stuff going on there. By the way, look how beautiful this is. I've used it so much. It's got so much color on it. When the holes kind of get filled up with gunk and I can't really use it anymore, by that time it becomes so beautiful with color that I end up using these in my canvases. Either the whole piece, or I'll cut it into the shape of a flower. And they're just really, it's just a fun thing to have around the craft room. Okay, so we've got that. So my wings are mostly the bloom sprays and then a little bit of the textured paste. Now I was laying most of my wings kind of straight. I think I'm going to put these down a little bit and be just a little bit different. I'm going to, normally I would do this in the very end, but everything's going to be good and wet, so I'm going to go ahead and get this tassel on right now so I don't mess up. And we're just going to put that jump ring open. They're not difficult to do barehanded, and I'm just going to close it up. The tassel, by the way, goes beautifully with that cobalt spray, so I'm really happy with that. On my original piece, I decided to just deviate a little bit, and we all go down that jewelry aisle at Hobby Lobby. Everything's 50 off, and I'll pick up little doodads, and that's what this piece was, and I just thought it was really, really a pretty addition to this. So now I'm going to glue my heart, and I'm just using a tacky glue for this. I did make one mistake doing all this. I had put some glass glitter on there, and I found that it was really difficult to glue. Come on. I should have had it upside down. And you have to kind of look at where that glue is going to go, and it's kind of a guessing game, but I've done so many I pretty much know. And I am putting quite a bit down. You could hot glue gun it. I'm not much of a hot glue person. So I'm going to figure out where I want that, get it positioned, get that pressed down nicely. Now that it's on there, I'm seeing that I want a little more darkness in the heart. So I'm going to take some more of that worn leather. And just get make it a little more dark to make it stand out. I may even take a little bit of that brown paint, mix it in. This is an experiment. We're just going to see, just to create some shadowing so the heart isn't exactly like the wing. I'm trying to not get my baby wipe onto the dots that I just made. So there we go. Now, to protect this, I'm going to, and you can use a gloss medium, a gloss gel, you could use Mod Podge, you can use whatever kind of sealer you want. I'm using a varnish that you would put over a painting. And the reason I use this is because for some reason it brings out the color more so. I guess because it's designed to use on a fine art painting, and it brings out the color better than some of the other things. It's just my personal feeling. We all find things that we like using in our art, and that's what makes us all so different, is we swear by different things. I'm going to go ahead and, I should have done this to the wings before I glued them on. However, I have that texture paste, which does take a bit to dry, and I needed to speed this up. So when I get home, I will probably do that. So we'll pretend that I already did that. And I'm going to take some doodads. Here's some metal mechanicals from Anna's line that I'm just going to pull out. Here is my metal icons. I really like the bows for this project, so I'm going to take one of the little bows out. Super cute. I love these typewriter keys. They're on the heavy side, but I like the fact that they're black. And it's going to just make that dress pop a little bit more. I am going to play with a design. And of course, flowers are just a natural for these. But because I was doing this whole metallic-y thing, I decided to be a little different and and use these. These little bows come wired in, and they're so tiny. Okay, so I have some little goodies, and I'm just going to kind of figure out how I want them on there. And I recommend using a jewelry glue for this. I am going to be using Glossy Accents because that's just what I picked up. And of course, I was just in here 2 days ago and there were straight pens and I don't see them to get my top open. So I'm going to struggle with this a little bit. There's a lot of people on here. Somebody just wrote people were sad. Why are people sad? Okay. I'm going to have trouble here, so we're just going to, we already know that. I'm looking around to see if I can find any glue. And I'm not seeing any. So we're going to pretend I'm gluing. Let me turn this around. And we'll do the finishing touches on it. I'm looking at it upside down, so it's I am thinking that stuff's wet. We're really covering up her dress, and if I were gluing, I would not be doing that. I would be putting it well off to the side here. And this little bow would definitely be in here somewhere. Here is how I just placed a few little doodads. This is a metal snowflake. I have no idea what that is or where it came from, but it was really cute. I'm taking copper stickles for her berries, her little holly berries. And originally I had done it in red. But the red kind of stood out, and this copper colored stickle looked really, really pretty with all the metal going on. That paste is still wet. What I'm going to do is take, we're going to pretend like I had already varnished those wings. And I'm going to take a little bit of varnish and put it in some sporadic places. We have, remember, my little doodads are still wet. My texture paste. So now I'm going to take some of the glass glitter that's new, and I'm going to just sprinkle it in the areas that I laid down some of that varnish, and that will act as a a glue. And I'm not a huge fan of a ton of glitter. I like just a touch, just to add a little bit of shimmer. And it's going to stick to where I put varnish, and it's going to stick to some of that crackle paste as well. There's another product that is brand new, the mica flakes, and this particular color is gold leaf, and I'm thinking we may put a little bit of this in here too for fun. And I'm just using that varnish, and I'm going to just get some in some places around the heart. This stuff is fun to use. Very shimmery. I don't remember where I painted over here. I can't find it. So just putting a few little flakes here and there. Of course, I will find some wonderful bead to stick in there. Going through all the buckets of beads that you save for that special something. And there's some of the mica chips. And of course you can put the glitter or the mica down as heavily as you want. I brought some perfect pearls, the liquid pearls. I brought copper and bisque. My initial gut feeling was to use copper, but I think I'm going to use the bisque. And on this first heart ornament, I put it around the entire wing, and I just put a few little dots on the heart. So I think what I'm going to do on this one is just a few. And this wing is actually the exact same wing as the wing stamp. I said just take that wing and take that stamp and make it larger. So I have that actual outline, and I just put a few little dots. Let's take this off. Give you a better close-up. Right on the bottom of that wing. I thought going around was a little overdoing it on the other one, but you know, then I'm going to take the inner ring and go all the way around. I'm going to just do half. Oops, that one fell over. I'm not like Frank where it's going to take me an hour to do this. I'm going to do it quickly. I'm not as patient as he, nor am I a perfectionist. That little splat that fell over, it just adds that handmade character. And in my classes, I tell people if you want perfection, go to Hallmark and buy a card. So that is the pearl effect. Pretend that this is glued on. And how pretty is that? Gorgeous to attach to any package, to give as a gift. The other thing that these would be really pretty as, because they are rather large, you could drill a hole on each wing and attach a really pretty ribbon, or you could curl some wire and add beads. Make it hello, a wall hanging. You could insert this in the center of a wreath. I mean, the possibilities are pretty endless with what you can do with these. And as you can see, super, super simple and just a whole lot of fun, you guys. So I know a couple of people came on late, so I just want to kind of go over really quickly what I did. I used the white gesso over the wood pieces to coat it a little bit. I used craft paint on the girl herself, and I used, on the wings, I sprayed antique gold and worn leather and the cobalt blue of the bloom sprays. And then I used the gold crackle texture paste on the wings. And I used the gold mica flakes as well as the gold glass glitter. And while I have you guys here, I'm going to show you really quickly the little wooden dolls that are out. And I'm seeing they are popping up everywhere. They're cute naked. You don't have to paint them. You don't have to do anything with them. They're super cute just to use as are. On package ties, you can make a necklace, put them in your scrapbook pages as part of the embellishment. Just really, really fun to work with. These were the prototypes that came before we decided to put the little loops on. And I did play around with paints and markers and what have you. This one I used alcohol markers, worked pretty good. I used a white gel pen and filled in between all those lines, which are etched. So your paint or whatever you're using stays in there pretty well without overflowing. A white gel marker, which acted as a primer for that color to lay on a little bit better and clearer. This one, I used winks of Stella's, and that worked beautifully. There's another product out there that I found in a store a couple weeks ago called Glaze Pens, and they look like a jelly roller, but they're called Glaze, and they worked beautifully on these. So your little pens work great and stay in between all the lines if you want to color and want to have fun with them. Those are the items that I recommend is the jelly rollers, the glaze pens, and the winks of Stella's is what I have played with and have worked beautifully. So I thought I would show you those because I'm starting to see them all over the place now. People are playing. And that's about it, guys. Let's see. I can't think of anything else. I know there's a live with Prima tonight, and I'm looking it up because I can't remember, and I deleted it. So Carrie, there's a live with Prima tonight, and I forget who it is, and I forget what she's doing, and I forget the time. So if Carrie's out there hearing, she can do that. There's also the art venture in Anaheim coming up in January. If you're on the edge thinking about it, get off the edge and sign up. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to be there teaching. The teachers are going to be fabulous. The new products that are coming out that I've stolen peeks at is gorgeous. We'll be using new products. So if you're thinking about it, just do it and don't think about it anymore. So tonight at 6:30 Pacific time is the altered clock. It's going to be really, really cute. I remember the picture of it. And that's about it, you guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have a lot of fun experimenting with these new products that have just hit the market. I am having a blast with them, so please enjoy. And thank you, as always, for showing up. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.